inspire sympathy from millions of people who have to go out there every day and grind on their feet, not doing luxurious things. It's just not gonna happen.
And a Jamie Lloyd production of Evita. I promise y'all don't need to be worrying about her career like that.
Because there's so many people that will view you as competition, or they'll make you feel not as good as you deserve to feel.
I just saw this video that was like, Rachel Zegler doesn't have a single movie role lined up after Snow White.
If we're trying to inspire sympathy for millions of people who have to go out there every day and grind on their feet, not doing luxurious things, it's just not going to happen. In a Jamie Lloyd production of Evita, I promise y'all don't need to be worrying about her career like that, because there's so many people that will view you as competition, or they'll make you feel not as good as you deserve to feel. I just saw this video that was like, Rachel Zegler doesn't have a single movie role lined up after Snow White. They warned her quietly behind closed doors, but she didn't listen. And now she might have to pay the price. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online. According to explosive new rumors coming out of Broadway, Rachel Zegler is facing a massive $5 million fine tied directly to her behavior on the set of Evita. Not because she quit, not because she walked away, but because of what insiders are calling ongoing on-set outbursts that allegedly triggered a hidden clause in her contract. That clause, it's designed to punish stars who damage a production's reputation. And sources say producers are now using it as a weapon. It's the kind of clause you only hear about when things go completely off the rails. And if what people are saying is true, Zegler may have just crossed the line. And in the film industry, when you are an actor, when you sign one of these contracts in the entertainment industry, I think a lot of people on the outside think that, if you are somebody who, has a lot of publicity around you and your name is attached to a project, that means that you have a ton of control or a ton of intel. But usually that is not the case. As an actor, you don't get to dictate anything. You don't get to dictate if a film actually happens. You don't get to dictate when it is shot, how it is shot, if you can ever speak about it to the public. You are simply just there to show up and say your lines, and look the way they want you to look. That is our job, and that was my job on this production. So again, that's really all I can say. Which honestly kind of seems like maybe this path that I'm taking right now is the path that Rachel Zegler should have taken instead of just running her mouth for the last 3 years. This comes right after Rachel finally broke her silence about the Evita collapse, reportedly blaming the cast and claiming she was set up from the very beginning. But now it looks like the people behind the show are fighting back and they're coming straight for her paycheck. A $5 million fine for words said off stage. And the craziest part, her team isn't denying it. They're just saying no comment. But behind the scenes, it's total chaos. And what happens next could destroy everything she's built. A lot of what you see with Zegler is really just a pretty common Gen Z mentality and approach to work. She believes that she should be able to express herself and speak her truth or whatever nonsense regardless of the consequences to everybody else. In reality, you have a job. You're getting paid to do this job.
You signed on the dotted line.
You took on the role. And that job comes with certain basic responsibilities. And one of the most basic is the responsibility to control yourself and comport yourself a certain way publicly so that you don't harm the project, thereby harm all the hundreds of other people who are working on it. When Rachel Zegler's alleged private messages leaked, the ones where she reportedly blamed the Evita cast for turning the production toxic, the internet lit up like wildfire. It wasn't just a statement, it was a declaration of war. In those messages, she didn't hold back. She supposedly said she was set up, that the people around her never wanted her there, and that she was made to feel like an outsider every single day of rehearsal. It was emotional, raw, and clearly not meant for public eyes. But once they got out, there was no going back. When you're there, and you're trying to do your best, you've worked on this part, you spend hours and hours on end trying to get this character just down right for your big audition. And then if you have a producer or casting director sitting there and then eating the food in front of you, yeah, it can be very annoying. Personally, I've never had that experience. Fans immediately split. Some defended her, saying she was finally standing up for herself. But others, they saw it as yet another example of Rachel deflecting blame and throwing people under the bus when things didn't go her way. And the cast silent, not a single public response. No one stepped in to confirm or deny the story. No vacates. Nothing. Just a wall of quiet that made the whole thing feel even darker. But behind that silence, something was brewing. Is this because of Snow White, or is this because of something else? Like y'all just want to jump on another woman's hate train. You know, this is actually looking pretty familiar. It kind of reminds me of another woman that had a hate campaign, but that's for a different video. But yeah, I won't sit back and let another hate train on another woman continue. According to news sources close to the production, the leaked messages weren't just embarrassing. They were the final straw. Apparently, tensions had already been running high. There were whispers of missed rehearsals, passive-aggressive behavior, and private complaints filed by crew members. And now, insiders claim the producers are done playing nice. They've allegedly pulled out the contract, found a clause, and are preparing to use it. Rachel Zegler is very upset with all of us over the reaction we've had. You can tell this because she's speaking in riddles. Check it out. And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the loo in pieces. And people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws and despite my craps and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see. Oh, Rachel, I hate to break it to you because people did not actually line up to see you. A clause that could hit Rachel Zegler where it hurts most, not her reputation, but her bank account. And if what they're planning is true, she could be on the hook for a multi-million-dollar penalty. But the craziest part, this might not even be about money. It might be about sending a message. Because what came next shocked even her closest fans. Something I love about this icon, Rachel Zegler, is the fact that she's just authentically herself. No matter what, she will call things out if things need to be called out, and she will have a strong stance on it. And I love her so much for that. She is just an absolute icon. I will forever be a Rachel Zegler stan, till the day I die. Like literally, if I'm probably going to still stand her as well. I love this icon so much. Such a powerhouse. Her singing, oh my god, her acting. Oh my god. Her innovator, oh my god. Rachel, why do you do this to me? I don't have any money. I don't have any money.
And you what?
You're making me go to Avita. You are making me go to Avita because I want to see you. I want to see you being the powerhouse person you are. I love you so much, Rachel. Rachel Zegler. I really, really do. High-profile stars like Rachel Zegler don't sign basic contracts. They sign multi-layered agreements with clauses that most people never even hear about. Clauses built not just to protect the project, but to control the star. And according to new leaks circling theater forums and industry gossip accounts, Rachel's contract for Avita allegedly contains something called a conduct and reputation clause. Basically, if she says or does anything on or off stage that could damage the production's image or cost it money, she pays. And that payment could be up to $5 million. The Rachel Zegler effect has begun. According to scooper Daniel RPK, Rachel Zegler has been recast in Paddington 3 due to strikes, but I have a sneaking suspicion the strikes are only a cop-out for the fact that she has had so much negative press. She is certainly one of the key reasons why the Snow White movie is absolutely doomed. She's probably one of the key reasons why the next Hunger Games movie is going to totally flop. And now the folks that are making the third Paddington movie are probably just using the strikes as an excuse to make sure that she's recast. Because I think if they outwardly said, well, we recast her because she just ruins everything she touches, that might not be a good look from the studio. But my speculation is that is actually what's going on here. That number isn't random. It's reportedly tied to production costs, advertising expenses, and a projected value of ticket sales. All of which could take a hit if a show's lead actress becomes the center of a public scandal. Sources say producers are now reviewing her contract in detail after weeks of leaks, backstage drama, and viral outrage. Not just because of what Rachel allegedly said, but because of how badly it's making the show look. Theaters don't survive on drama. They survive on ticket sales. And Avita, it's already under fire. Fan sentiment is volatile. Behind-the-scenes footage is being dissected frame by frame. And the name Rachel Zegler is now more associated with chaos than with talent. Allegedly, The producers have consulted legal teams to determine whether her public behavior, including leaks, outbursts, and missed rehearsals, legally qualifies as a breach of her agreement. But here's where it gets messy. This kind of clause is rarely enforced. It's usually there as a scare tactic, a nuclear option just in case. But the fact that it's even being talked about publicly means something behind the scenes is spiraling out of control. And Rachel's camp, no den, no political questions, just more silence. Which only makes people wonder, is it true? Could one of Hollywood's